In my previous life, the plane I was on unfortunately crashed, and my best friend Linlin was seriously injured. My boyfriend suggested leaving her behind, but I couldn't bear it, so I carried her on my back for dozens of kilometers in the snow and ice. When I was less than 10 meters away from the shelter, I finally fell down exhausted. My boyfriend carried my best friend on his back and turned to me and said, "Ran, I'll send Linlin in first and then I'll pick you up." But I never got there until I froze to death. After she died, my soul floated into the wooden house, only to see Linlin snuggling in Lu Wen's arms. "Brother Wen, you are so smart. You saved my life, preserved your own strength and got rid of Song Ran whom you hated." Only then did I realize how stupid I was back then. In my next life, when my boyfriend suggested leaving my best friend in the snow, I agreed without hesitation. In my previous life, the plane I was on crashed on an uninhabited snowy plain. Only 5 of us survived the plane, but my best friend Linlin's leg was injured and she couldn't walk at all. Fortunately, my boyfriend Lu Wen is a pediatrician and knows some first aid knowledge. He simply bandaged Linlin's leg and suggested that we go south together. The plane crashed north of 45 degrees north latitude. Obviously, it is almost impossible to go from the cold zone to the temperate zone with human strength, but there is no other way. After all, it is always the safest to go in the same direction. At this time, my boyfriend Lu Wen, who has always taken saving the dying and the wounded as his mission, suggested leaving my injured best friend Linlin behind, and the 4 of us continued to look for a shelter and come back to take Linlin away after finding help. I immediately refuted Lu Wen and Liang Bo's suggestion, but he said, "Song Ran, don't be willful, now is a matter of life and death, it's still daytime, and the temperature is already minus 10 degrees Celsius. If we can't find a place to keep out the cold before nightfall, all of us will die." My heart sank, but I also knew that Lu Wen was right. We just turned over the remains of the dead next to the plane and found a few clothes that could barely keep out the cold, but it was obviously not enough in this icy and snowy environment. For example, my shoes are ordinary single-layer sports shoes, which have no effect in keeping out the cold. My toes are already frozen and painful, and Lu Wen doesn't have a hat or long hair to cover them. Her ears were about to freeze off. This was the case for us healthy people. If the injured Linlin was abandoned, it would mean waiting to die in the ice and snow. If it were me in my previous life, listening to Linlin's painful groans and looking at her eyes asking for help, I would definitely not have the heart to refuse. But after experiencing it once, I already knew that Lu Wen and Linlin had been together behind my back. Lu Wen said this because he knew my temper too well. In most cases, if someone in the team was injured, and this injured person was a petite girl of 158 centimeters, the tall boys in the team would usually be responsible for taking care of him. Although Lu Wen had an affair with Linlin, he was selfish and unwilling to lend a helping hand. He winked at Linlin and me behind his back. Linlin immediately understood what he meant and started to attack me. In my previous life, I was soft-hearted at this moment. Regardless of my own precarious situation, I carried the pressure from everyone saying that we were holding back and foolishly carried Linlin forward all the way. Breathing such cold and dry air into my lungs felt as uncomfortable as being stabbed by a knife, especially when I was carrying a person who was less than 10 pounds lighter than me. My breathing became more and more intense and heavy, and the pain became more and more obvious, but I still gritted my teeth and endured it. After walking for an unknown amount of time, the boy Zhao Xiaojiang who was traveling with me discovered a small wooden house in the distance. He cheered excitedly. "Look, there's a house ahead. There must be someone behind the house. Hurry, everyone. Hold on, persistence is victory." At this time, Lu Wen, who had been walking in front and ignored me no matter how tired or uncomfortable I was, suddenly stopped to wait for me. I thought that because hope was at hand, he no longer felt that Linlin was a burden, so he was finally willing to lend a helping hand out of conscience. Who knew that he was more likely to cause trouble than to help? When he turned around to take Linlin from behind me, he accidentally stepped on me, and this was the last straw that broke the camel's back. After walking in the snow for too long, my sneakers were already cold and my toes were about to fall off. Lu Wen's foot happened to step on the key position, and my toes broke suddenly, which hurt me so much that I couldn't stand up at all, especially along the way. My physical strength has been exhausted. I have been leaning on it. I have 2 lives in my hands. I have been holding on for all these years. To put it bluntly, I was just holding on to my last breath. Now this breath was suddenly interrupted. I fell in the snow because of the pain of my injury. When I recovered and wanted to get up again, I found that I couldn't do it at all. Before Lu Wen carried Linlin away, he said to me, Ran, you are much heavier than Linlin. Wait for me to carry her to the wooden house. I will recover my strength and come out to pick you up immediately. Is it heavy? Although I am 10 centimeters taller than Linlin, I only weigh 6 or 7 kilograms. Now my boyfriend, because his girlfriend is 6 or 7 kilograms heavier than other girls, chose to save others first. It would be a lie to say that I didn't feel uncomfortable, but my education since childhood told me when encountering danger, the weak should go first. Linlin was injured and had always been physically weak, so she was also weak. It was right for Lu Wen to take her away first. I comforted myself in this way in my heart, but I didn't expect that Lu Wen would never come back after he left, and I froze to death on the snowfield. Later, the rescue team came and found the 4 people in the wooden house. They sighed that it was a miracle and rescued them, but I don't know if it was because of the special environment of the snowfield. My soul actually stayed next to my body. When I watched them being rescued, Lu Wen held Linlin in his arms and comforted her softly. That expression and tone were more like a couple when they were with me before. Linlin snuggled in Lu Wen's arms and whispered, "Brother, when you are so smart. You saved my life, preserved your own strength and got rid of Song Ran whom you hate. Everything turned out to be like this." I was struck by lightning. Lu Wen was very proud. "Yes, otherwise how could I make room for you?" The captain of the rescue team had extraordinary hearing, and heard the whispers of the adulterer and the adulteress. He turned around and glared at them. He immediately ordered another search to see if there were any survivors. Linlin said dissatisfiedly, "Oh, what are you looking for? Let's go. It's so cold. It's so cold in the snow. Except for the wooden house, how can there be anyone alive? The captain has another person here. A nimble team member found me. It's a pity that my body is already stiff. I should have walked for a while." The captain walked towards me, but Linlin and Lu Wen kept saying bad luck and took my body back to my hometown. Thinking of this, I thank God in my heart for giving me a chance to be reborn. Facing Lu Wen's bouquet of flowers that was exactly the same as in the previous life, I nodded this time and felt it made sense. Indeed, this might be the best way. As soon as I said this, the frozen air suddenly became quieter. "What did you say?" Linlin sat on the ground and looked up at me in disbelief. Otherwise, there would be no better way. "What do you think?" I no longer foolishly took on the responsibility, but threw the problem to them. The four of them looked at each other and didn't speak for a while. Lu Wen and Linlin were naturally in the same group, Zhao Xiaojiang, Hu and Cici. These two were originally good friends called by Linlin. To be honest, I am the only real outsider among the five of us. The relationship between the three of them and Linlin is closer than mine. There is no reason for them to rely on me alone, but I still underestimated Linlin's shamelessness. "Song Ran, I didn't expect you to be such a selfish person. My foot is injured like this now, are you going to leave me alone and let me wait for death here?" I'm shifting the blame to someone else. "Hey, this is not what I said, you heard it just now. I also think Lu Wen's suggestion is cold and heartless, but it does make sense. How about this? What we two say doesn't count. The four of us will raise our hands to vote on whether to take Linlin away or leave her here. By the way, Lu Wen and I don't need to raise our hands, we have just expressed our opinions. Zhao Xiaojiang and Hu Cici, what do you think?" The current situation is very clear. Among the four people, two of them do not agree to take Linlin with them. If one of Zhao Xiaojiang and Hu Cici says not to take Linlin with him, he will be left here. If both of them agree to take Linlin with them, the physical work must be done by the person who takes him with him. Naturally, it will not be my and Lu Wen's turn. Linlin cast her expectant eyes on Zhao Xiaojiang and Hu Cici again. Their eyes began to dodge unnaturally. "How about we do what Lu Wen said? There is really no better way. I'll quickly call the Taoist priest." Fortunately, Lu Wen has his own ideas and can make decisions, otherwise we will always be here. Hesitation, delaying things. Hearing this, Linlin's dissatisfied eyes immediately cast at Lu Wen. Yes, if it wasn't for his bad idea, everyone wouldn't have decided to give up on him so quickly. Lu Wen felt the pressure of Linlin's eyes, and began to struggle again. "Song Ran, why don't you take Linlin with you?" Pretending to be puzzled, "Didn't you think Linlin was a burden just now?" He was a little unhappy. "I just didn't accept the reality of the plane crash for a while, so I was a little out of control, but I didn't expect you all to be so cold-blooded, and actually watch someone die without helping anyway. You can't leave Linlin here alone," and said to me, "Song Ran, do you really have the heart to let your best friend wait to die in the snow?" Facing Lu Wen's temptation, I just didn't express my opinion. Instead, he said innocently that in special periods we must consider the overall situation, and of course we can't follow our own ideas. Lu Wen and Linlin were so angry that they vomited blood. But this was not the time when they were exhausted and their lives were at stake. Therefore, their sense of shame had not yet disappeared, and they could not speak directly and designate me to carry Linlin. After all, the two men present were 1.8 meters tall and had been exercising all year round. I'm afraid they themselves were too ashamed to speak out their thoughts directly. Seeing that I was a difficult piece of meat to cut, Lu Wen looked at Zhao Xiaojiang again. "Xiaojiang, what do you think?" This is to let Zhao Xiaojiang make the decision. The person who finally made the decision to abandon Linlin will definitely bear the greatest psychological pressure and guilt. Similarly, the person who finally made the decision to take Linlin with him, Lin's people will inevitably bear the greatest workload. Zhao Xiaojiang sneered unhappily. "Didn't you just say that you didn't care about Linlin? Why are you pretending to be a good person this time? If you change your mind and want to take Linlin with you, it will be terrible if you carry her on your back. No one will persuade you to let her go. There is no need to discuss it with us." Hearing this, Lu Wen and Linlin glared at Zhao Xiaojiang hatefully, wishing they could glare a hole through him. I gave Zhao Xiaojiang a thumbs up in my heart. If I could be as slippery as him in my previous life, I wouldn't have been harmed so badly. Zhao Xiaojiang was not helpful, but Hu Cici did have some real feelings for Linlin. She hesitated and said, "Xiaojiang and Linlin have been friends with us for so many years, how can we just give up?" Lu Wen was horrified. "How about we take Linlin with us?" Lu Wen immediately accepted my agreement. I was just feeling bad. You two are such good friends with Linlin. If I leave her here just because of a word from me, I will look down on myself. What Lu Wen meant was that he wanted to push Linlin to me and Hu Sisi again. But I didn't give Lu Wen a chance. I smiled and took off his backpack full of food. How could it be possible? Lu Wen, you are still willing to take Linlin with you under such difficult conditions. You are a hero in my mind. I put Lu Wen's bag on my back and cheered him up with my voice pinched. Come on Lu Wen, Linlin is lighter than me. Since you can carry her, I will definitely have no problem carrying her. Finally Lu Wen, who was in a dilemma, had to carry Linlin on his back. In fact, I had thought about leaving Linlin here to die like I did in my previous life. But then I thought it would be too easy for Lu Wen. I wanted to see if, without me doing the hard work this time, the two adulterers could still wait for rescue lovingly. I didn't know if Lu Wen was really weak on the outside or if he was deliberately shirking his responsibility. He walked to the halfway point of the road I had walked in my previous life and stopped. After putting Linlin down, he was out of breath. Songran, come and make the switch. There are 4 people here, just find me. Everyone can act. I pretended to have misunderstood Lu Wen's meaning and was excited. I ran towards him. It's finally my turn. Lu Wen, you're so nice. How did you know I couldn't walk anymore? I jumped up and climbed onto Lu Wen's back. He was caught off guard and fell to the ground. Songran, what are you doing? Lu Wen was very angry, but his voice was very low. I guess he was just like me in my previous life. He didn't even have the strength to speak. I pretended to be ignorant and pouted. Didn't you say it was my turn? I thought you've been carrying others for so long. You finally remembered to carry your own girlfriend, isn't it? Linlin was so angry that she vomited blood. Brother Wen said you should carry me, so I misunderstood. But what should I do now? Lu Wen didn't stand firmly just now, and when I fell off his back I broke my foot. I sprained my ankle. I looked at Lu Wen helplessly and said, you have to continue to carry Linlin on your back. After saying that, I stood up and pretended to limp away, leaving Linlin and Lu Wen behind. I don't know how long we walked. It was getting dark, but we still couldn't see the shadow of the cabin. It seemed that Lu Wen's physical strength was not as good as my previous life. His slow pace caused Zhao Xiaojing's dissatisfaction. Lu Wen, this won't work. We are walking too slowly. Let's do as you said before and leave Linlin here first. We will pick her up after we have recovered. Because Linlin hadn't moved her limbs for too long, the frostbite on her hands and feet was more serious than those of us who were walking. In addition, boys were not as careful as I was in my previous life, so I carried Linlin along the way. Ling's injured leg swung back and forth, so even though she didn't walk, her leg injury became more serious. I sneered in my heart. In my previous life, I tried my best to carry Linlin, fearing that she would be injured somewhere. She was like a young lady saying that I walked too fast and her legs hurt, and then she said that I walked too slowly and couldn't find a place to stay after dark. In the end, I carried her to a place only 1 step away from the helicopter, but she abandoned me in the ice and snow. I didn't expect that this time it was Lu Wen's turn to carry her, and he didn't even dare to fart. Lu Wen wanted to say something, but was interrupted by Zhao Xiaojing. If you still want to carry Linlin, we certainly won't stop you, but you can carry her slowly and chase the main force behind. We can't wait any longer. After saying that, he looked up at the sky. It was almost completely dark at this time. There was complete silence on the vast, deserted snowfield, as if there would never be a way out. The biting northwest wind made the skin on everyone's face cracked, and they couldn't help but shiver. To everyone's surprise, I still chose to carry Linlin on my back this time. I still have enough strength and won't slow down the team. Linlin was very touched. Of course, you are my best friend. I didn't respond, but instead proposed a condition. I was afraid of falling behind with Linlin on my back. I wanted to leave. The people in the middle were all Linlin's friends, and they had to let her go. Now that they saw that I was willing to accompany her without slowing down the progress, they naturally had no choice. There was no response. With the experience of my previous life, I walked much faster than Lu Wen with Linlin on my back. Suddenly Lu Wen, who was walking at the back, said impatiently, "What's wrong, Sisi? You don't want me to carry you too? I tell you, I don't have any strength left." Hu Sisi behind me was confused. "Lu Wen, what are you talking about? I didn't ask you to carry me." Lu Wen was startled. "Hu Sisi, weren't you behind me? When did you run in front of me? Then who was the person who patted me on the back just now?" "Don't look back, Lu Wen, don't look back." Zhao Xiaojing, who was walking in the front, said in horror, "Remember, Lu Wen, you must not look back. Let's walk faster." Zhao Xiaojing, who was always calm and uninhibited, even trembled in his voice. The emotion was also transmitted to each of us. In this vast snowfield that was gradually getting darker, any unfavorable change could break our fragile nerves. Lu Wen almost cried and said to Zhao Xiaojing, "Why can't I look back? What do you mean? What's behind you? Zhao Xiaojing won't hit you. Never mind. Just walk faster. Remember not to look back, and try not to hunch your back, let alone run." When I heard this, my mind buzzed and I knew that the bet was right. When I was a child, I heard some legends that bears in the wild are very smart and like to imitate human behavior. When it is not bright enough or there is heavy fog, they will wear cow dung on their heads, stand on their legs, and wave to people. They pretend to be villagers wearing felt hats to attract humans. Sometimes bears will even learn to knock on doors like humans, or pat people on the shoulders from behind. If the person being patted on the shoulder turns around without noticing, the bear will bite the neck. Thinking of this, I couldn't help but feel a chill in my heart, and sweat broke out on my back. Zhao Xiaojing was the first one and I was the second one. Behind them were Hu Sisi and Lu Wen. If Lu Wen was eaten by the bear, then Hu Sisi would be the next, and then Linlin and me. This was the real purpose of me carrying Linlin on my back. In the previous life, Lu Wen and several others were in the wooden house. They had no idea that they had brushed shoulders with death. At that time I was almost frozen to death. For a long time when my soul was still floating beside my body, I saw a bear sniffing me from head to toe, but I couldn't move. I was not attractive to the bear, so he didn't eat me immediately, but buried me in the snow with his fat claws. I guess he must have more favorite food, but he regarded me as a backup like compressed biscuits, so he covered me with blood to prevent other beasts from finding me. At this moment I was carrying Linlin on my back. If a bear or other beast attacked me, Linlin, who couldn't run far and was not dead yet, should be more attractive than me. I could use her to block the ball. The pace of the four of us kept accelerating. If we carefully analyzed the eye could tell that there were more messy and heavy footsteps of humans, which further confirmed my guess. I couldn't help swallowing in fear. What should I do, Xiaojing? I feel like he is still following me. Before Zhao Xiaojing could answer, Lu Wen screamed, "He is pulling me with his hands, save me, I don't want to die, wait for me, Song Ran, don't walk so fast, wait for me." Lu Wen muttered behind us. We all tacitly didn't respond but walked faster and faster, obviously wanting to take someone down with us. Song Ran, wait for me, or at least put Linlin down. You can't walk fast with Linlin on your back. Put her on the ground and I'll come. Linlin heard the words and immediately started crying. I begged in my ear, Ran, no, don't put me down, please, I don't want to die. I sneered in my heart. I thought Lu Wen and Linlin had a good relationship, but they fled when disaster struck. Seeing that I didn't move, Lu Wen began to increase the stakes. You don't want to put Linlin down. It's not because you still thought she was your good girlfriend. You don't know what she did behind your back. Lu Wen and Linlin cried out in anger. Now she was scared. She was very brave when she seduced me. Lu Wen's voice was a little ferocious. Song Ran, don't listen to him. Lu Wen is crazy. He just wanted to find someone to take the blame. There's nothing between him and me. Only a fool would lie to you. Song Ran, I can give you my phone. There's chat history with Linlin. Without waiting for our reply, Lu Wen began to exclaim again. It hurts. He is biting me. If this continues, will he eat me? This is like a paper bear. It's all your fault, Linlin. If you hadn't said you wanted to travel abroad and I couldn't get rid of Song Ran, our group would never have come out to travel. So that's it. Lu Wen told me that he wanted to travel abroad with me, but he was worried about the poor security abroad and it would be unsafe for the two of us, so he made a few friends. I didn't expect it was for Linlin. You guys wait for me. Songlan, don't walk so fast. I'm your boyfriend. I was called and silently quickened my pace. It was a joke that I couldn't possibly wait for him. Lu Wen's voice began to pant violently. He breathed as if he was running. Zhao Xiaojing's terrified voice came from the front. Don't run, Lu Wen, don't run. But it was too late. Lu Wen was too scared and wanted to jog a few steps, shoulder to shoulder with Hu Sisi, but his running movement completely aroused the beast's hunting instinct. The bear, which had been following Lu Wen without attacking him, finally couldn't help but pounce on him and started biting him. Lu Wen's screams kept coming from behind. Save me, he's eating my legs. We could only keep walking quickly. At the same time I looked back quietly. It was hard to see clearly here. I just felt that there was a faint red liquid splashing in the snow. Lu Wen first cried for help, and when he saw that we didn't respond, he began to curse. Song Ran and Zhao Xiaojing, do you think I can escape by myself regardless of anything? Haha, how can you possibly escape from a bear? Almost at the same time, Zhao Xiaojing, who was walking in the front, suddenly paused. Look what that is. It is hard to see clearly in the dark with the help of the flashlight, but based on my experience in my previous life, I know that we have reached the wooden house of my previous life. There seems to be a house in front of the door. Hu Sisi exclaimed in surprise. The crisis of being eaten by a bear behind us has not been resolved. We could not help but speed up our pace. The moment we closed the wooden door, Lu Wen's screams were isolated outside, but we did not dare to relax for a moment. The footprints in the snow were so obvious, the smell of humans was so strong, and the bears were so... The bear is cunning, and there is not much food on this snowy field. After the bear has finished eating, Lu Wen will definitely find this place soon. I looked up at the wooden house. It is made entirely of wood. It can only protect against gentlemen, not villains, let alone a bear. Foreigners building houses are really unreliable. It is still cement and steel bars that can give people a sense of security. Thinking of this, we decided not to sit and wait for death, but to take the initiative. Bears are afraid of fire, loud noises, unknown or things taller than them. We searched the wooden house but only found a shovel and a mop, which can barely be used for self-defense, but these things are a bit ridiculous in front of an adult bear. Wu Sisi continued to stay in the house. While searching, he suddenly found a switch. Curious, he pressed it. In an instant, the snow in front of the house was illuminated. Coupled with the reflection of the snow, it gave the illusion that the sky suddenly became bright. The sudden change also scared the bear that was eating happily. The fat figure covered with black fur ran away without looking back. After confirming that the bear had no intention of coming back, the three of us finally plucked up the courage to go out and check on Lu Wen. This bear was really vicious. Other beasts would bite off the throat of their prey and wait for it to die before starting to eat. However, this bear chose to eat from the feet, causing the prey to collapse in fear and pain. Eventually he died of excessive blood loss, just like Lu Wen now. His legs had been gnawed by the bear up to his knees. His knees were bloody and dazzling red, looking even more hideous under the light and blood. The smell of blood in the wild could easily attract wild beasts, and leaving Lu Wen at the door was not a good idea. Therefore, when Zhao Xiaojiang carried Lu Wen on his back and walked towards the wooden house, I did not object, but I felt vaguely uneasy in my heart. Would the bear come back? No wonder they didn't want to go out after entering the wooden house in their previous life. The house was indeed warm. Zhao Xiaojiang lit the fireplace, Hu Sisi was bandaging the wounds of Lu Wen and Linlin, and I cooked the food in the backpack into hot meals in the kitchen. Within 5 minutes, everyone had finished their meals. After dinner, I suggested reinforcing the wooden house as much as possible. After all, bears are very vengeful animals. It was scared away by the light we used, and its feeding was interrupted. No one knew if it would come back. Several people thought it made sense after listening to it. However, we searched the house and found that only 2 large wooden wardrobes could do the job. The wooden house had a door and 2 windows, one in front and one in the back. We used these 2 wardrobes to block the front and the back of the door respectively. The windows could only be barely blocked with an upright sofa. There were a lot of clothes and sundries in the 2 wardrobes. In addition, they were made of solid wood, so it took the 3 of us a lot of effort to put them away. After doing all this, we finally felt relieved. When the temperature in the house rose almost enough, we turned off the fireplace. Zhao Xiaojiang took a few large fluorescent sticks he had just found in the house, climbed up the chimney, and fixed the fluorescent sticks on the roof. In this way, even if the light was not good at night, the patrol and rescue aircraft, it can also be seen that there are people here. Linlin is sweet-talking and knows how to act like a spoiled child. She has always been popular and is the center of attention wherever she goes. When she saw the 3 of us busy running around, she didn't feel guilty for not being able to help. Instead, she felt that she was being treated coldly and was sent here to die of cold. You just went upstairs to turn off the fireplace. It's really cold. Light the fire quickly. Sure enough, after entering the house safely, Linlin felt that she no longer needed anything from me, and her attitude completely changed. She was no longer as cautious as before. I don't know what Lu Wen talked about with Linlin. The 2 seemed to have completely forgotten that they had just calculated each other's lives. Lu Wen said, "Yes, Linlin is still injured and can't move. Songran, please light the fire in the fireplace quickly. There should be eggs and milk in this room. You can steam an egg custard for Linlin tomorrow morning, and heat up some milk to supplement protein. Be quick." I was so angry at their bossing that I laughed. "Songran, what are you doing standing there?" Seeing that I didn't move, Linlin said dissatisfiedly, "By the way, next time you go to the roof, just put up a ladder from the outside of the wooden house and don't go through the chimney." The room was very cold when the fireplace was turned off just now. You are active and don't feel cold, but Lu Wen and I are both injured. I obviously thought I was still as popular as before, and made various requests in a delicate voice. Zhao Xiaojiang, who was called, sneered, "You feel cold sitting in the room, but I won't be cold if I go out and climb the ladder. You think you are a young lady. If you are nosy again, I will throw you out to feed the wolves." Seeing that her former bootlicker was threatening her fiercely, Linlin immediately shed 2 tears. Lu Wen weakly hugged Linlin in his arms to comfort her, and at the same time scolded Zhao Xiaojiang. "Zhao Xiaojiang, you are a man. Why are people still mean to women? It's just a little cold climbing a ladder. It's not going to cost you your life. Don't let your brothers look down on you." I sneered. "You are a man? Then go climb up." Or the man you mentioned refers to someone who will have an affair with other girls in front of his girlfriend. Lu Wen was choked by me, and let go of Linlin with embarrassment. "Songran, since you know everything, there are some things I won't hide from you. Linlin and I do have feelings for each other. I hope you can let go and make us happy, but I also hope you don't make it difficult for Linlin because of this. After all, she is injured now, and we have been good friends for so many years." Lu Wen's words made it sound like I couldn't bear to let her go and wanted to pester her. I rolled my eyes in my heart. I couldn't even save my life, and I still had time to think about these things. This is too. I hope that and that. Why don't you go to the temple to make a wish? And when Linlin seduced my boyfriend, you didn't remember that she and I have been friends for so many years, but now you remember it. I tell you, I don't care whether you 2, the adulterer, want to be together or separate, but don't bother me with your affairs. I don't have time. As I expected, it was not Lu Wen but Linlin who refuted me first. "Lu Wen, what are you talking about? I have always treated you as a brother and sister. Why do you think so about our relationship?" Lu Wen was surprised when he heard it. He overestimated his charm and Linlin's character. I kindly reminded Lu Wen that you have no bones below the knees, your appearance and income will be greatly reduced, and you still think that you are the handsome and promising doctor you used to be. Who can attract me, your good girlfriend, to be your mistress? My cruel words made Lu Wen feel like he was in a dream. Wake up. He shook Linlin's body unwillingly. "Really, Ma Linlin, do you really think so? I love you so much, but you actually despise me." Seeing Linlin hesitating but not refutating, he became even angrier. "I sent you a PM for you. If you hadn't clamored to go abroad, would we have encountered a plane crash? If you hadn't delayed my journey, would my legs be like this?" Linlin's face turned pale from being shaken. Finally, she couldn't help but pushed Lu Wen away. That's enough, Lu Wen. It takes two to tango. Don't put all the blame on me. Aren't you messing around with your girlfriend's bestie just for excitement? Don't play innocent here. As soon as I invited you to go abroad, you immediately booked it for me, a sex-themed room with a waterbed, and a regular room for your own girlfriend, and you also asked me to pretend in front of them that I accidentally booked the wrong room next to the plane, and you were the first to give up on me. Lu Wen, are you a man? You dare not take responsibility for what you did, and you still have the nerve to criticize me. What they said was too exciting. I wanted to watch the dog-eat-dog scene for a while longer, and even recorded a video on the side. But Zhao Xiaojing stopped them and said, "Stop arguing. Everyone has limited energy. Let's not worry about love at this time. In my opinion, we should go to bed first. No one can be sure whether the bear will come again, so we definitely can't sleep together. Cici and I will be in a group and you three will be in a group. Each group will sleep for 3 hours and then change shifts. What do you think?" Zhao Xiaojing's words made sense, and we didn't refute them. At around 1 a.m., the snoring of 3 people was heard in the room. Linlin fell asleep in less than half an hour. Now only Lu Wen and I are still awake. However, Lu Wen suddenly called out in a cheesy tone that I haven't heard for a long time. I said, and both of my arms were instantly covered with goosebumps. "After what happened today, you must be very disappointed in me." On his face, there was a bitter smile like the infatuated male second in idol dramas. "Fortunately, I didn't have much hope for you." Lu Wen's smile froze on his face and he said unwillingly, "Of course I know I hurt you. I don't ask for your forgiveness, but I hope you can believe that I was just blinded by Linlin before. Now I know that you are the best person to me. I really regret it." Lu Wen finally went back to the future. He no longer has a market for himself and he wants to come back to me, the sucker. "Lu Wen, you don't have to regret it, because I know everything you have done for so long." Looking at Lu Wen's eyes full of hope, I said firmly that it was all from your heart, because you are a bad person. That's why you were seduced by Linlin. So don't come here to act. I don't want what others don't want. Lu Wen widened his eyes and was speechless for a long time, as if he couldn't believe that such heartless words came out of my mouth. I was speechless. The night wind was howling outside the window. Danger was lurking everywhere. I had to be fully alert to keep watch. Lu Wen was still thinking about how to find a backup. Just as I rolled up my sleeves and was about to pinch myself, I heard a dull knock on the door. At first I prayed that I had heard it wrong, but less than 10 seconds later, there was a bang 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 sound on the door again. I didn't think that there were other people on the plane who were as lucky as us. Not only did they survive, but they also happened to find this wooden house. When I looked at Lu Wen, his eyes were also full of fear. The one knocking on the door must be the bear. Just like the legend, he pretended to be a human. He was tempting me to open the door. My palms began to sweat and my heart seemed to be tightly grasped by something. Who knew that after about 2 minutes, there was no more knocking on the door. We were about to breathe a sigh of relief when we heard a dull knocking sound from the window at the back of the house. Oh no, this bear is really cunning. He knows that the defense is weakest at the back. The sofa in the wooden house is in a modern light luxury style, and it is supported by pillows and cushions. The structure inside is supported by only a few pieces of wood, and cannot withstand the attack of a bear. What should I do? He is about to come in. Lu Wen's voice trembled. I looked up. There was only one way. After a battle between the gods and the gods in the mirror, I still couldn't stand by and watch Zhao Xiaojing and Hu Cici die. Although they also had a share in my death in my previous life, they were not the mastermind after all. I gently woke up Zhao Xiaojing and Hu Cici, and repeatedly remind them not to make any noise to wake up Linlin. Otherwise, with Lingling's easily startled personality, once she starts yelling, the bear outside the door will surely be sure that there is someone in the house, and will no longer care and will break into the house. Fortunately, he was sleeping soundly and was not awakened by the knock on the door. The solidity of the wooden house will definitely not be able to stop the bear. The only place we can hide is the chimney. Zhao Xiaojing said in a heavy tone, I have climbed this chimney before. It is only 6 meters high and the size is a square of 0.3 by 0.3 meters, and no one can stand on the roof. We did a simple calculation and understood it in our hearts. In the end, we unanimously decided to give up. Linlin and Zhao Xiaojing picked up a pot of water and put out the fireplace. Then the 4 of us quickly got in. Zhao Xiaojing was at the top, I was the second, and below was Hu Cici, who couldn't climb up. Of course, Lu Wen was at the bottom. Because the fire had just been extinguished, the fireplace was very choking, especially in Lu Wen's position, but he could not cough, so he could only hold back his face until it turned red. After all, it was okay above and the bear could reach his position. As soon as Lu Wen got into the fireplace, he heard the sound of wood breaking and the roar of the black bear outside the window, followed by Linlin's scream. Linlin cried and asked, What's going on? Why are all the people gone? Uncle, Lu Wen thought angrily. Xiaojing, where are you? Why didn't you call me? Are you hiding in the closet? Yes, you must be in the closet. You dare not go out. Go, there are still people in the closet. Go and eat them. I couldn't help but feel fortunate. The height of the chimney can only accommodate 4 people, and the 3 of us healthy people must occupy 1 position each, So there is only room for one person between Lu Wen and Linlin. I know that the two of them the bear's nature. Once Linlin was awakened, one of them would have to choose between Lu Wen and Linlin to go into the chimney. No matter who was chosen, the other would betray our position. So I directly suggested not to wake Linlin up. It would be meaningless for both of us. Besides, if he could keep watch as agreed, he would not be abandoned in the house. Linlin's crying went from loud to soft, from fear to despair. Lu Wen had felt that feeling. Listening to Linlin's voice, he was scared to wet his pants. About 5 hours later it was dawn. The four of us had been in the chimney for so long that our legs were stiff. Zhao Xiaojiang, the one at the top, was too cold to bear it. He made a fuss about going down to the house several times, but Lu Wen, the one at the bottom, refused. If the bear hadn't left yet, he would be the first to die. Fortunately, the sound of helicopter propellers came from the sky, and we were excited. With a loud shout, Zhao Xiaojiang reached up a little, waving his arms wildly, and finally the people on the plane found him. Songlin, the captain of our rescue team, was the one who heard Lu Wen and Linlin talking in the previous life. He was stunned for a long time when he saw me. This weird behavior made me have a bold guess. Sure enough, a year later, on the night of our engagement, Songlin told me that he was also reborn. Not long after my death in the previous life, he died in a rescue mission. The reason was that when rescuing several hikers who were trapped in the mountains and evaded the ticket, Songlin, who was walking in the front to illuminate the mission, was pushed by the hikers who were anxious to go home. Songlin rolled down the mountain and caused his parents to lose their stomachs at the age of 25. If he had the chance to do it again, he could have quit the team directly, but he was afraid of implicating his teammates. Therefore, he went through this disaster himself and then he began to pursue me. After being rescued, Lu Wen went crazy and inhaled too many toxic particles from the chimney. His brain became a little stupid. I heard that when he was in the hospital he kept shouting that it was not like this, we shouldn't be like this, my legs will be fine, Linlin will not die. It is Songran who died, I will be famous, everyone knows that I am a survivor who protects others, how could this happen, how could this happen, I know Lu Wen is back too. But unfortunately no one is willing to understand the words of a madman, we survivors, the airline company, each compensated for physical and mental damages, totaling 10 million, and accepted various interviews at the same time, making a lot of money. And because of this unfortunate experience, the leaders and colleagues of the unit were afraid that I would have psychological problems, and gave me many preferential treatments at work. A long time later, I was still very fortunate to have made the original choice. The full text is over.